All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live here tonight, Chicagoland Speedway. That's right. We got some boys here, and we're starting with the winter series tonight here. Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, the winter series here for the trucks. We switch it over here, and we got a huge field, 34, some bad fast boys and some bad fast trucks around a bad fast track tonight. Want to welcome everybody here tonight. I'm Joe White up here in the booth. Got old Harrison up here with me. He's getting set, prepared, and locked up. And Harrison, tell everybody how you doing.
Because, you know, last time when you saw the Monday Night Money Series, the pressure was on. They were all competing for that championship. The drivers, there was just tension, you know. But now it's a fresh start. It's the Winter Series. It's 12 weeks. Everyone is tied for the top spot in the points, and you know they get to just see what they have. They don't have those external pressures indicating how they're going to race. They're just going to go out there and race.
Absolutely, and we got a good, solid field here tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, you can feel the atmosphere here. Get the wintertime, cool time out here. The leaves are turning. And like I say, I want to appreciate everybody coming out here tonight. And I want to appreciate the Sim500 guys here, the league, and all these boys here letting OSRNetwork do this. Come out here, bring on the show for you. Folks, I tell you what, it's going to be awesome next 12 weeks. Like the man said there, Harrison did. It's going to be different, unique, because Chicagoland, I've been listening to some of these drivers. They've been saying very slick out here. Very tricky track. So probably going to see some guys out here slipping and sliding. But then again, we got some superstars out here too.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at this, the roster on the entry list and the qualifying times, there's a couple names we haven't seen as often. Michael Guest right now is currently on the pole. That might change, but it's looking good for Michael Guest, and he was not a member of the Monday Night Money Series, so he's a new addition. Steve Minson is here, he ran some of the Monday Night Money Series. Pedro Mega, producer extraordinaire, is racing this one, qualified 6th so far, but just to go down the list, there's a few names like that. Braden Whitaker, that's a new addition to the Sim500 series. Mike Kelly running on a Monday night. We've got EJ O'Rourke as well, who finished about 5th or 6th in the Monday Night Money Series. So it's a nice field here. We've got probably about 35 trucks who are going to make a start.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge field here. Some boys about to do some awesome things around this track. You talk about old Pedro Mega, man, sitting up there in the lobby up there. He's out there, and you said he's sitting on qualifying 6th right now. Definitely fast. I saw him race the trucks on the Wednesday night race there we did, and he was definitely up there fast during that race. So I know he can, not only has he got his fingers, man, fast on the keyboards, producing wise, but he's fast behind the wheel too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. See old Malik Ray's back out there. We know what he can do behind these things. And a lot of these new guys. I know Joey Gattina out there, very happy, along with Chad Cole and company down there, admins. I know yourself, Harrison. You got to be happy with the success here of the Sim500. First race of the Monday Night Money Series here, the winter series that is. And it's turning out to be a success here tonight.
Certainly happy with the car count. You just hope that the car count transitions into some green flag racing too. Sometimes you start a season and the first race or two, people are racing around people that they don't ordinarily race around. They have to learn everyone's habits, everyone's tendencies, and so there's that chance that, you know, it could start out rough and get better. I know from my league racing experience over the years, that was always the trend, was it starts out rough and then it gets really, really good. But I've been proved wrong many times. Sometimes it just starts really, really good. So I think most of these guys know each other, so it'll that lends itself to some hope here that we might see some we're going to see some nice racing tonight no matter what. The question is, are we going to be slowed down by a couple of early cautions or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're right. Getting set here, closing in on the end of qualifying. They have 10 minutes. I see we got about less than a minute here left on qualifying. And right now it looks like Michael Guest is the man on pole so far, with Justin Fuller right there behind him. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time to you, Harrison, and all the viewers out there and a lot of the drivers. I'm probably going to mess up a few last names. But as the series goes on, I definitely will get them. I can already tell you probably the guy in 8th spot, Steve Gottschalk. Is that right?
Close enough. Steve Gottschalk, I think.
Good deal. Well, man, that is awesome. Well, seems like we're pacing up here. We're going to get these boys gridded up here. That's going to be an awesome race tonight. Well, sitting in on pole, like we just said, Michael Guest sitting out front. Justin Fuller going to start in second. Rhett McBride there in third. We got Stevie Minson going to start in fourth. Chad Coleman fifth. Pedro Mega, we just talked about him, going to sit in sixth. Bobby Terrell seventh. Steve Goskalt, there we go, sitting in eighth. Ninth place, Malik Ray. And to round out the top 10, Nicholas Cohan is there at 10s. We look to the rest of this field here, Harrison. Boy, I'll tell you what, like we said, star-studded. I mean, it is packed with a lot of skill out here.
You know what's interesting, too? You just pointed out Malik Ray starting ninth. He didn't take a lap in practice. I think he just showed up and, he's raced at Chicagoland plenty of times. He knows what he's getting into here. Sometimes it's just a little habit that some of these guys have where they're like, okay, I know I have an idea of how the truck's going to handle. It may be a little bit different from my guess, but I know the track. I've driven the truck before. I'm just going to show up and go. And so that's what Malik Ray did. He started ninth, and I think he he kind of felt that out in qualifying, and he's going to be coming up through the field here to race for the lead. But as you said, star-studded. I mean, Joey Katina back here in 21st runs the league. That's kind of a heck of a look out of his windshield, but a lot of fast guys starting from the back. Chad Cole starting from the back. Brian Wertman, 34th, is the last car in this lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looks like all 34 trucks are going to grid up here. So we got one more left. That's Ed Burrell going to grid up as that pace car. And there he goes. So we got 34, some bad fast boys and some bad fast monster trucks is what I like calling them, on a bad fast track here, Chicagoland. About to do some awesome things, folks. I tell you, we got 125 laps, I believe it is.
Yeah, 125 laps for these trucks. Don't believe that. I'm not sure if they're actually dealing with any halfway money in this winter series. It might just be old style, like old Winston Cup style. Every race matters and just go.
It is. I think I was asking before, I was asking if there was going to be any money involved in this actual race. I think it's just more or less the championship and the series. Pretty much straightforward, like you just said. It's going to be for all the marbles and just to win. Pretty much get you some points there, get your truck in as the pace car's leading these things around here. Like I said, we got 125 laps. These boys are going to get it done here. Slick track. As I was talking to some of these drivers before the race, they were saying, man, entry into turns and stuff, very tricky. So it's something to keep an eye on throughout the race.
And one thing that I love about that, I love that, is just watching wheelers wheel their trucks, but also Chicagoland Speedway kind of notoriously opens up the lanes. I think we're going to be seeing drivers running all over this racetrack. There's going to be the high line coming in here before too long as they try to save their tires and find grip.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. Pace car is coming and a turn. And we're about to get set here to go green flag racing. As we are side by side, we're going to ride with Joey Katina on the one side here. We're going to get a good start here as the 20th Chad Coleman right there gets a good jump, along with Michael Guest out front. And it's good Packer cars as they are 3 and 2 wide all through this field.
Oh, yeah, a lot of guys trying to move up. That was the 5-car Thomas J. George who went 3 wide. He's single file now down the back, but Thomas George, I believe he's a champion in a couple other leagues in iRacing and bringing his talents to Sim500 right now, under attack by the 80 of Scott Formosa is already looking underneath him. They're going to go 3 wide again around the 77 truck. That's James Pascarella. And the 5-car Thomas George backs in to let him not force 3 wide into turn number 1. But so far, so good. Green on lap number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Green flag, man, lap 2. I'll tell you what, these guys right now are storming around this track. Chicago's got a lot of... Usually I would say would have a lot of grip, but they were talking in practice. They don't have a lot out here, so it's going to be interesting to see. But man, I'm going to tell you what, right now with 34 of these guys out here, they are bumper to bumper, nose to tail out there. You can get out there, man, and have a tailgate party around this place right now.
Oh, absolutely right. And we can do a tailgate party with the old these trucks. But Malik Ray, by the way, that 18 truck, Oh, I'm sorry, that's number 1. I just saw Skittles and I thought Kyle Busch, but Malik Ray in the number 1 running, oh, big block from Justin Fuller right in front of him. But he's up to position number 4 for Malik Ray. Chad Coleman working underneath Steve Minson there for 5th, and that looks like that 20 truck of Coleman will get through there too. But I was just admiring some of these paint schemes. Skittles on the 1 for Malik Ray. The 20, it's kind of a gray ghost looking thing for Chad Coleman. I think I've heard the name for what that paint scheme is before, but I don't remember. So he might just get an unofficial name from me through this one.
Absolutely. Well, what we'll do later on, these guys get fanned out a little bit, is what we call like the OSRNetwork rundown order. And what I do is showcase off some of these paint jobs and definitely these guys. But man, it is a dog fight up front. Michael Guest still the man out front. He got Rick McBride right there behind him. Justin Fuller sitting at 3rd. Malik Ray, like you just said, already pulled it up in the 4th. And well, these boys are storming around this place as you got to go all the way back here to about 6th and 8th spot as we got some trucks around. The 96 is around.
Oh, wow. The 96 of Minson was running about 5th or 6th. So I'm going to have to back up the replay here to see what happened. But, actually, Minson, before that incident, had fallen back quite a bit.
He did. We're watching the replay here so the viewers can see. Looks like the 96 and another truck right there. They just got together, man, tangled coming off there. That's another thing you got to look at. Trucks pushing up when you're on the inside. This is the 51 machine, I believe that was. They just got together, coming out of the turn down through the, I would say it's almost like a mini tri-oval here at Chicagoland. Not quite a straightaway, but yeah, just one of those wrong place, wrong time type of deals.
Yeah, there was definitely room. That was Steve Gottschalk on the inside was giving Minson room. I think Minson was looking at the truck in front of him, trying to get around him. And that was just, well, there wasn't quite much real estate there. As the 96 came down, the 91 came up a little bit, but, when you're on that inside truck, you expect the guy on your outside to be up against the wall. But as you said, the curving back straightaway here, it has more of an effect than people really realize.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see a slew of trucks coming down here on pit road. Pretty much about everybody coming on pit road. As on the other side here, we're going to do our little side-by-side and watch the long little pace car. Got a couple trucks out there that didn't come in. The 57 out there of Nicholas Cohan. I believe I said that right. I hope so. And Joe Hudson.
Yeah, Joe Hudson was running about 18th before the caution. Cohan was a little bit higher in the lineup. Looks like he was back half of the top 10, about 8th. And as I look at that 57 truck, I don't know why. I kind of do know why, but when I saw all that white, I just kept thinking about Red Horse Racing, like a Red Horse inspired scheme. But that 57 font kind of reminds me of some Norm Benning too. So I don't know what the inspiration is behind that white Toyota, but they're looking good out there in front right now for Nicholas Cohan. Looking at the battle off of pit road, not sure who the first car is going to be on new tires. Look like it's going to be Michael Guest. So on pit road first, off of pit road first.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to give him a good starting position here. As I would say, unless old Nicholas comes in and Joe Hudson comes in, Michael Guest is going to be right behind him. Now, that's another thing. This place, they were talking about burning the tires up, and once you burn that right rear off, that you can't get it back. So, with that said, what do you think about the call that Joe Hudson and Nicholas is doing up there?
It's interesting because they weren't green for that long. I have a feeling they're both going to get stuck on the outside here and head backwards, but it might be a net gain for Joe Hudson because he had some track position to overcome. Nick Cohan, on the other hand, I feel like he's going to fade a little bit farther back than he was running before the caution. I think they were just expecting such a big field. You expect, the 34 trucks making the start. I think when a caution comes kind of early, you expect 10 of them to stay out. They're probably a little bit worried since they were the only 2.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a slew of trucks here as the pace car lights are off on here. We're getting set to go back green flag racing. And as always, we're at lap 8 here of 125. Tonight we're live, Chicagoland. That's right, Sim500. The Monday Night Money Series. This is the winter series, though, with the trucks. As here we go, Harrison, man, pace cars coming out of turn number 4. Going to take that hard left turn off on pit road and send these monster machines a-rolling. They're going to put, man, the metal pedal to the floor here. This man out front, Nicholas Cohan, he is gone as soon as that thing flies. Right behind him, look at that one, Malik Ray going to try. He's also riding on here on board with Scott back in the back.
Yeah, and actually, you saw Malik Ray go to the apron there. Malik Ray, 3 wide entering turn 1. They're going around Joe Hudson. Fuller's on the outside. 57 to Cohan. I found it interesting. He took the outside on that restart there, but he's right now still in the lead. But Malik Ray using the apron, that's something we're going to see throughout the race, especially when they're all congested, all on top of each other. I think you're going to see a lot of the trucks go onto that apron on the start-finish line, as you're seeing a lot of the leaders do right now. But over the course of a long run, that might change. There's a few theories about coming up onto the track affecting just how that right rear is heading for turn number 1, or some drivers just out of habit like to stay a little bit higher on the straightaway to kind of set them up better for turn 1. But it's a few little theories that go around. You see a lot at Chicago.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you got a hornet's nest happening back here around 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th on back. Joe Hudson slammed the outside wall there a little bit. Fortunately, he did not come back down in the middle of that. Could have been disastrous. Right now, this is kind of looking almost like what a plate track is. I mean, because look at these guys right now, side by side, inches apart from each other, storming around here. Oh, yeah, folks, and they're running about 180, 190 mile an hour doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, the tiniest mistake could send you headed for that infield grass, as we saw between Steve Minson and Steve Gottschalk. But the high line I saw opening up a little bit in turn numbers 1 and 2 there. I saw Scott Formosa and Brian Cook way up the track, and now Cook got in line single file. Scott Formosa still side by side with the 0-4 of Braden Whitaker. That's 3 different lanes right there. The Brian Cook was way up the track. Formosa kind of in the middle. That's Braden Whitaker on the bottom. The 0-4 got really, really loose coming out of turn number 2, but he held onto it. Nice save by that driver, and he's going to lose about 2 spots in that, but I think he's one car's going around right now, Red Baron truck out of turn number 4.
Yeah, that was 09. Is caution going to come out for him? I don't think so. I think he might have got off the track.
Stayed green, held on to it, got to the apron quickly, and they kept that green.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, that was an awesome driving job. Still, these trucks, man, nose to tail, single file, and a freight train order right now up front. Still, Michael Guest out front. Malik Ray has just moved it on up there. Hang on to your hats, because I think it's just a short amount of time before he takes over that top spot. We'll just have to see, as Nicholas Cohan has moved off into 3rd. Justin Fuller still in 4th. Pedro Mega, look at that, moving up into 5th place right now. I tell you what, though, it's just throughout this whole entire field, we got battles up front, battles in the middle, and battles out back here, Harris. I mean, it's just a hard place to go to see where to look, because every time we turn our head, these guys go back side by side.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reputation in NASCAR that the hardest racing you'll ever see is in the middle of the pack with desperate drivers. But hey, when they're racing really hard up front, now you got a lot of places to look. And you know, Malik Ray, we had mentioned it earlier, but worth repeating. Monday Night Money Series champion. Oh, Pedro Mega, the 48, just got really loose coming out of turn number 2. Now Rhett McBride, who was running 2nd earlier in the race, going to get underneath him. So Rhett McBride going to take the 5th position away in that 15 truck. Pedro back to 6th. But Malik Ray, you know, we saw that great race with him and Josh Williams in the Monday Night Money Series finale, where they were side by side battling for the lead, 3 wide at times, going for the lead. Malik Ray came out on top of that, and you know, sometimes just some good momentum, some good mojo gets you feeling right. You walk into the track and you feel like you could do no wrong, and everything just seems to go right. And the driver plays a huge role in that, and that's why anytime anybody's in a race with Malik Ray, they know he's going to be battling for that win.
Yeah, absolutely. Watching old Justin Fuller, he's a man on the move right now. He's currently up in the 3rd spot, looking good. He made a pass right there on Nicholas to get up to that 3rd spot. As we look out front where he is, you got that popcorn machine there running. Boy, I'll tell you, if we get up here, the man with the Skittles, he's got candy, and he's about to hand him some up there to Michael Guest, who is he's all over his back deck lid. 2 Toyota machines up front. They're about to do some battle here. As let's throw some more side by side so we can show the viewers out there what's going on in the back here. Because we still, like I said, we just got action all over the place here, Harris.
Yeah, action all over the place, and I tell you, Skittles and popcorn, and I didn't have dinner tonight, and I can't be looking at that.
It's about like me with hot dogs, man. Yeah, I love them.
Oh my God, I could go for about 10 right now, but hard
Man,
yeah. I was watching the 10 of Kevin Pearson. Oh, he got really tight, was running the middle in 1 and 2, and they're all going around him on the outside now. But I think that's going to be a trend that we're going to see more and more of. Not just hot dogs, but the 10 of Pearson going around out of turn 4 saves it onto the apron. As you were talking about, I didn't know how these trucks were handling going into this thing, but you knew right from the get-go what to expect, and that's what we're seeing right now. A lot of trucks getting loose.
Well, I was talking to a lot of the drivers before this thing here, and they were just kind of telling me that, hey, it's really, really kind of loose out there. The temperature of the track and whatnot, but it hasn't stopped them from trying to do some action like we're seeing here with Pedro Mega, who is actually trying to look in the inside of the 57 and take it 3 wide, 2 wide. But that's this track here, Chicagoland here tonight, folks, that we're at. That's this track. Chicago has multi-grooves to it. You can use the low line, the middle line, and the high line here as long as you've got the grip to do it. Now, that's another thing I think they're going to be battling with throughout this whole entire race. They're going to think that they've got it, but after a while, they might burn those tires up if we get a long green flag run.
Yeah, absolutely. And that balance that you talked about is something you think about a lot, because earlier you mentioned how much it looks like Talladega as the 77 creeping up on the 48 of Pedro there. But you talked about how it looks like Talladega, and that's something that you fight is you don't want to get stuck somewhere in a line that's falling backwards. You don't want to give up too much saving the tires. So, all these a lot of drivers are pushing their trucks a little bit harder than they want to just because they don't want to give up the track position. And so now that you see some distance on the track here, people are able to go their pace a little bit more. As they're 3 wide again with Pedro with the 41 and EJ and O'Rourke in the middle, wisely backed out before turn 1. And also at the same time, when you were talking about that 3 wide battle at Pedro before, EJ got loose 2 or 3 times on the outside there, one of which was a little too close for comfort for me, but front, middle, back, they're all fighting it.
Absolutely they are. And right now you see, you was talking about that battle. Look at EJ O'Rourke, very, very wiggly coming out of the turn, having to hang on to that 41 machine. And just a second ago, he was up there doing a 3 wide do-si-do, so to speak, with the 48 machine and 57 up there, Pedro Omega and Nicholas Cohan. But now he's back there trying to hang on for his life. And it looks like, again, they almost trying to take it 3 wide. Wow, Harrison, I love racing like this, man. These guys are all over the place, man. Side by side, 2 by 2 coming out. And oh yeah, folks, we're here tonight. Sim500, Monday Night Money Series, Winter Series that is, and the truck style racing tonight, Chicagoland Speedway. Got old Harrison up here with me. Harrison, I mean, what are you seeing out here? Anything that you would do different as a driver?
I'm not sure. I'm just getting spooked again. A couple of trucks got way loose out of turn 2. That time was Cohan and maybe Bobby Terrell, but I'm not sure if it was Terrell, so I don't want to. I already called him out, but one thing I'm noticing big time is that the middle's really coming in. When your truck is loose and you're sliding and you find yourself just burning that right rear tire off, turning the wheel less helps a lot, and that's where the middle and the high line really starts to come in. And I think that's part of why you see cars or trucks running higher and higher on the racetrack. Now EJ, he had a couple of corners where he seems to have found his rhythm again in that 41 truck. He's running high again on the racetrack. I think he's ultra aware of, as he's just doing a couple of just, definitely scary, just wobbles through 3 and 4, but it just seems like you start racing the track. And sometimes that brings you to the longest run of the night when everyone starts struggling with their truck. If they're able to hold on to it, you get these long green runs where people start forgetting about racing other trucks. They start remembering that they just have to hold on to it to finish this race. As EJ again, sliding back a little bit, the 63 of Brian Cook was looking on him, but looks like Brian Cook backed out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while he was doing that, just checking on the leader here right fast, as he's actually moved away from Malik Ray some by about a half second or so. So he's picked up the pace a little bit there. and actually got a pretty good lead in that 74 up front. So a lonely man out there up front, and he's kind of liking that. He can set his own pace. Malik Ray right there in second. He might have his hands full here soon with Justin Fuller's closing in ever so slightly. That's Rick McBride right there sitting in the fourth place spot. Pedro Omega right behind him. So the top, I'm going to say about 6, 7, 8, 9th guys, you got to go, like we said, back here where E.J. O'Rourke is, around the 10th, 11th, and 12th before you start getting all the action. The guys, we got a truck spinning in the back there, no caution. But, yeah, the top, like 9 have all spread out, single file.
Oh, yeah, that was actually Joey Gattina who got loose out of turn 4. But, yeah, I think you'll see that a lot over the course of a long run. People don't want to race quite as much, but what's still so interesting about it is, well, aside from strategies and all that, you could just, it's so evident how much people are struggling with this truck. Steve Gottschalk in the 91 this time got really, really loose at a turn number 4, and he ended up in the grass, and he held on to it. He's coming back onto the racetrack, but, you know, that's a lonely feeling watching all those trucks that you were just racing against going by you, especially because he spun out earlier in the race, or got sent to the back earlier in the race after an incident with Minson. Just lost a lot of track position there, and he's been fighting ever since, and just lost a lot of track position again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's a thing here we're watching, and you know, it's a good thing we got this side-by-side thing here, Harris, so we can actually let the viewers out there see a little bit what's going on, because, you know, what we're focusing on a lot's right here kind of in the middle. And then the reason being is because, I mean, look at the racing there. Chad Cole is moving up there. You got Thomas George in the mix, Mike Kelly there, E.J. O'Rourke. I mean, those guys are just putting on moves of skill moves side by side and 3 wide around here. No fear, that's what we'll call them. And it's just good to be able to keep up, because it's a good battle. And, wow, we got a truck who almost clipped the nose out of everybody. That's 57.
Ooh, Nick Cohan got so... I was just thinking to myself, Cohan was way up the track. EJ was kind of in the middle, but up high. Then we had others working the low side. Cohan got really loose. EJ got loose looking at the truck getting loose ahead of him. They almost made contact. Luckily, remained green here. Now Cohan's under attack from that 20 truck we were talking about earlier. Chad Coleman, the JDR Graphics Gray Ghost for... or future name to be determined. E.J. O'Rourke in the 41, again, way loose up high, and they're going to be a lot of trucks just throwing it underneath him. He's 3 wide down the front.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this pack of trucks right here, wow, they're doing some amazing things, and just keep an eye on it. You know, definitely want to let you know what's going on with that. And the 63, man, having his hands full. That's Scott Simley. I always want to say Scott Smiley when I look at it real fast. That's what I was calling him before on the last time we was here on the Monday night. But he definitely having to hang on to that thing. You know, folks out here, we're trying to keep up with the action of what's happening, because what's happening on this track is a lot of guys are losing it and they're going off on the apron. Iracing will not throw a caution, so that's why Harrison out here is helping me out with who's going off. I mean, with this kind of track conditions, what we're seeing and what we were talking about before, well, yeah, they're loose, and now we're on a pretty good long green flag run. We're at lap 33 of 125 here tonight, Chicagoland Speedway, for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, the winter series here for the trucks, and it has been a very, very good one so far. I mean, hey, I always say it, Harrison, if this kind of racing does not get you excited and get your hair jumping up and down, maybe get a hair standing up on you, you might need to go and get a doctor's appointment or a psychologist, because something is wrong.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Just seeing everybody just sideways, just doing all they can to not wreck, on the edge of out of control. That's what everyone calls being on the limit. That's what I just simply love to watch. And as this was all going on, I've been watching E.J. O'Rourke in that 41 and the pack that he's been working with, but Steve Gottschalk, we mentioned him go to the grass before. About 2 laps later, same exact thing for Steve, who was running 20th at that point, went through the grass again. And especially why I bring that up is because something that a lot of people may not realize is just how much one little mistake affects the tires for the rest of the run. So if these guys are getting looser and looser throughout a run, Gottschalk gets loose that once, 2 times, and then suddenly his right rear just feels like it's on fire. It's so hot. And he's trying harder than everyone he's around to not have the same thing happen again, just because of how much that right rear tire is wearing and how much heat is being generated when he's sideways. And that's something that you just deal with constantly at a combo like this. As they were 3 wide ahead of EJ O'Rourke, but Chad Coleman backs out. They're side by side in front of Chad for about the 11th place position.
Yeah, you're right, and I'll agree with you on that. You're talking about the right rear there and the tires not being able to bounce back after they're doing something, and that's actually exactly what these guys were talking about in practice before the race. If you get in and get yourself out of shape and out there and abuse these things, definitely you're going to have an ill-handling truck as they go 3 wide, 20 of Chad Cole looking on the inside of 5. Well, I'll tell you what, that is some good racing around that pack right there, middle side, as we still keeping an eye here on Michael Guest up front as he is pulling away from Malik Ray, folks. Definitely want to let you an update on what the leader is doing because he's got a 1.2 second lead out front. As we say that, though, Rick McBride or Malik Ray's coming into pits.
Oh, Malik, that last lap, he actually got loose at a turn 4, lost a lot of time, but I think Malik might have been trying some things to start making up some ground to Michael Guest, because Guest has put together a great run, as you were talking about, and I think I would have to say that Guest and Malik Ray have competed against each other quite a bit. I feel like I see Michael Guest's name a lot in the official iRacing sessions when it comes to the K&N series, the National series, and then also the B Fixed and the C Fixed. So he has a lot of experience hopping into shorter races and just trying to put together a great 45, 50 lap run. And we haven't seen him in Sim500 this season, to my knowledge, unless he's been competing in one of the series that I haven't paid close attention to, but definitely was not a driver in the Monday Night Money series. So making the transition to Mondays for Michael Guest and making the transition to a ginormous lead right now, 4.5 seconds over Rhett McBride.
Yeah, the man's got his whole solar system going on out there at different time zone. Like you just said, 4.6 seconds, 4.5 seconds. That is astronomical. He's setting sail very fast out there. So definitely is awesome, man, to see. We got Rick McBride right there. And watching these 3 trucks now, because you've got the 15, 48, and the 1 there, respectively. They're all not quite nose to tail, but they're right there with each other. If one of them makes a mistake, they definitely could capitalize on each other's mistake. Then you go back into 5th place, man, Mike Kelly. And it's interesting to see what these guys will do over a long run. I mean, we're at lap 41 and 125. They got to start thinking about eventually, long green flag pit stops coming in here. Everybody came in during that first caution. So I think we're getting into, when do you maybe see we're starting to think about a green flag stop? I think maybe, well, as we say that, 48 spinning.
Oh, he might be the reason for the caution. And I was thinking, there's a truck spun out on the back stretch. Let's see who this is. This is probably the reason for the caution. The 04, the Lowe's Silverado, Braden Whitaker is the reason for the caution. Backing up the replay, it looks like he just lost it at a turn number 2. And I believe, so Pedro actually was spinning out coming onto pit road. He might, depending on if he crossed that commitment cone, which he did, the caution might have come out while he was already on pit road, so Pedro Mega might be okay, but a mistake there. He was running in 3rd in the 48 truck. Whitaker, his truck looks all right. He just went for a spin. Don't believe he hit anything, but as you were talking about pit stops, I was thinking that the pit window here might be right around 35 laps. So, or the pit window on tires anyway, the ideal strategy that I think most of these guys are going to use. If you run the fuel tank out, it could probably go close to 60 laps, but I don't think many people would try to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we were just talking about green flag pit stops, which I guess now with the caution, we can just throw that out the window.
I don't think we'll see anybody take 2 tires.
No, I wouldn't think you would take 2 tires with the way that these things are handling. If you did, wow.
Now, and one thing that it's definitely, a few of these guys are probably disappointed to see the caution, but I think Michael Guest, he built a 4.8 second lead before that caution came out. I don't think he's thrilled with having everyone back on his bumper again.
No, I wouldn't. As I was watching that replay of that 04, you're right, he just lost it coming off there. I was trying to find him out through this entire huge field that we got going on. As everybody now, like you said, in pit road, getting the 4 tires and fuel that they need. And a lonely little pace car out there. Well, folks, we're here live tonight. Chicagoland for the Sim500 Monday Night Money series here. And I want to appreciate everybody coming out, everybody watching this thing. This is a good one. Running caution here, second one of the night. So, and it's definitely, actually, I'm going to tell you, to just be the second caution with the conditions that these guys are having to deal with on this track and what we've seen so far, Harris, with the way these guys are having to wheel these machines around, I think that's pretty impressive for 34 machines out here.
And only one of them went to the garage, and that was just 18 laps ago. There are 33 trucks on this track, sideways all the way around. Definitely impressed with what we've got going so far. You definitely want to see it continue, especially because we're going to have some intense racing here after this restart. People trying to take advantage of their newer tires, and when you come off of such old tires, sometimes you have to retrain your mind just how much harder you can drive the truck on lap one after a restart. It's always a weird feeling going from no grip to feeling like you have a lot of grip, even though it's really not a lot of grip.
Yeah, and we saw it on the restart before there. I mean, it took a while for these guys to get fanned out. They stayed right there side by side, 3 wide action, 2 wide action, nose to tail for a long, long time. So we know the groove is out there. They definitely got the track to get it done. The problem is, after a while, like we were talking about, if they abuse those tires early on, it's going to kill you in the long run if we get another long green flag like we had there before.
No, that's absolutely right. Those two, Joe Hudson and Nick Cohen, they definitely would have preferred to have taken 4 tires. You just can't put a price on grip. That's what everyone's seeking. It's like the treasure at the end of the ocean, The ends of the ocean. I'm combining talking about the end of the rainbow and thinking about Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know what kind of metaphors I'm going for right now.
Right.
But Joe Hudson's running 19th, Nick Cohan 28th, 31 trucks on the lead lap. I think we saw at least 5 or 6 people go through the infield grass on the front stretch. Probably 12 people get completely sideways at various points throughout that run.
Yep.
So it ended up being a net loss on track position for Nick Cohan. He also might have been one of the drivers who short pitted a little bit. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. It looks like he did. He actually pitted on lap 35, so and that strategy might have been adjusted because of the way his truck was handling to begin with. So he might have been off sequence as a result of taking 2 tires earlier.
Yeah, and you talk about Nick Cohan. He's back there in the 28th spot, folks. That's a good set to go back green flag racing. It can change in a heartbeat here. Anything can, especially on a track like this, conditions they got, and as many trucks as they have out here. Now, I always say, as we get closer to the end, business will pick up. These guys will, the patience will kind of go out the window. Teammates and all the other stuff will go out. And birthday presents won't be handed out throughout. So we'll have to see. Right now, they definitely got a little patience. And let's see how they do on this restart, though.
Absolutely. Malik Ray going with the outside on this one. Beat Michael Guest off of pit road, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. But that number 1 truck, the Skittles piece, the black, the JDR graphics machine, in the lead, assuming control, holding them down a bit slow, and the green flag is out. They went green on the green flag. That actually helps out Michael Guest a little bit. He gets to stay a little bit more even with Malik Ray than originally he would have, but it looks like Malik got just enough of a start that he's going to clear Michael Guest, enter turn 1, and drop down to the bottom in front of him.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, they scattered like a bunch of ants in the back there because they got stacked up on the restart there, went 3 and 4 wide in the far back side, middle of the pack there. But up front, we definitely got a dogfight. 15's on the inside of the 2. That's Rick McBride there with Mike Kelly as they going to go door to door, maybe slam some fenders coming out as they head to the line. Harris, I tell you, this is the excitement we get on the restarts here. What's going on? Hey, I don't want to forget about the folks out there watching. What's going on out there? We see Ray, see Derek out there. See a few of the guys, man. How y'all loving this action going on in Chicago? Tune in. If you like what you see, hit a like, hit a sub, hit a share out there. If you don't like what you see, well, there's a thumbs down. You can do that, or watch. I always say there is golf that I play sometimes on the network, and you can see that.
Network of choices is what that is. And as you were talking about Rhett McBride here, I just think to myself, I'm impressed with Rhett McBride in this race. He qualified up front. Actually, he goes up the hill a little bit. I was a little bit worried for contact. Mike, caution in the back, though, interrupting that thought. Let's see where this is. Don Roberts, I believe, the 87 truck went around here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, let's see what... I want to walk back here and watch him on this. Oh, well, he got a little damage. Actually, we was watching him on that restart. I took the replay back here and it took us back to that restart. He actually... Yeah, they checked up on that restart and he got a little bump in the back. So let's see what exactly, like you said, let the viewers out there actually see. You know, they're on a little delay on what we are here, so we get to see live timing. Well, let's let them actually view what happened to what's that, Don Ruckle. Is that how you say his last name, Ruckle?
Yeah, I feel bad for Don Ruckle because it looks like the I didn't catch the truck, the number on Don Roberts, number 87. The 87 kind of goes up the hill entering turn 1, and I think as he has trouble getting to the bottom entering turn 1, and he sees the 91 behind him head to the bottom, the 91 doesn't do anything wrong here, but what I think happens is the 87 kind of loses his composure a little bit, thinks, okay, I got to give some room to the 91 at the same time, just comes up a little bit too high, gets hooked into the 00 of Don Runkle and runs him right into the wall. So that's just a rough deal for the 87 and the 00. A lot of damage on those two trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely everybody still coming down on pit road. I think that's going to be the choice, and we just saw the wreck right there on the replay. Folks, I take it back, and Iracing takes me back to who they think it is and who they feel like it was on the thing there. But we just saw it, let the viewers see what happened in the 00 and the 87 machine. Just an unfortunate racing incident. Again, we take it back to what we were talking about before. Slick track. I mean, it's one of these guys, these guys are fighting it out there all day long.
And an interesting call. A lot of these guys stayed out because of only, or not a lot, but I think we have the top 7 or so are going to be trucks that stayed on the racetrack, elected not to pit this caution. Mike Kelly's one of those, and that's one of those guys I wanted to talk about real fast because he did not set a time in qualifying. He started 30th. We're not quite halfway. He had gotten up into the top 5, and now he's in the lead. And he's going to have control on this restart. He has a buffer between all the trucks that took tires, and I really like the way that 2 truck is looking right now. Another truck that I really like today, the 15 of Rhett McBride. He qualified up front, lost a little bit of track position earlier in the race, methodically made his way forward, didn't lose anything on the long run. I think he was about the 2nd best truck, it seemed like, on that long run. And so Rhett McBride, we haven't seen him on the Monday series, and he's doing a fantastic job out here tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we're kind of showcasing this truck there on the one side. All the viewers out there get an idea what he's got. He's got a nice looking number 15 machine out there. You was talking about Rhett McBride. And again, we get these guys spread out here. We'll do our rundown on I Know a Lot. Well, hey, what's going on, Renee, out there? Josh said, man, what an exciting start out here. And folks, you're right, because we're live here tonight, Chicagoland Speedway, for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. The winter series, though, next it is a fixed setup, Derek, and no fast fixes also. So these guys out here, definitely, you wreck these things hard, and your night is done.
Oh, no room for error. That's for sure. By the way, I was talking about that 20 truck of Chad Coleman earlier, calling it the Gray Ghost. Well, I remember the actual nickname for that truck. And by remembered, I mean J.D. Laird, who painted the truck, painted a number of trucks in this race for JDR Graphics. It's Smokey. Chad Coleman is driving Smokey. And the nickname for Smokey, actually, not from Smokey Unit, but Chad started calling it Blackie because that was the name of a different black truck that, actually a quarter midget that won a bunch of races that these guys are familiar with. But JD said, listen, there's only one truck with that nickname, and I have it. And so he said, you got to go with Smokey because it's kind of smoked out on that black. So Smokey, the number 20.
Okay, good deal. Nice looking truck out there as we see it. And hopefully he doesn't smoke that thing into the wall, and we don't sit and talk about him that way. And he puts that thing, and all he does is smoke the back tires off of it in victory lane tonight.
Oh, absolutely. We saw him competing for the championship on the Monday series. Didn't make the final 4, but he was out there, and I forget which race it was that he won earlier in the season, but he's won a few here in Sim 500, or at least one. Somewhere between one and a few.
One and a few. All right, good deal. Well, so we're getting set to go back green flag racing. I'm going to ride along here side by side also with the man up front, Chad Cole, but we've got Pedro Mega, who is back in the back. Don't know if he just had a bad pit stop or got caught, man, with that round of green flag pit stops. But here we go. Pace car's about to set sail on pit road. And send these monster trucks are rolling. Here again. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. It's going to be lap 54, 125. As you was talking about Mike Kelly a minute ago, Harris, he takes off up front. But look out behind him. Bobby Terrell and that 7 machine got the muscle milk out there. He's flying high. He's got the 74 on his back deck lid and the 8 on the inside.
A good start for those guys, the 74 and the 1 up there on the fresher tires. The 8 on the bottom there, that die-hard truck of Chad Cole, he actually started in the back just like Mike Kelly. Both those drivers in the same row, actually, from row 15. But Mike, a couple of the guys I thought were going to stay out the whole caution ended up hitting later in the caution, so Mike Gas come through the field quicker than we anticipated, or at least I anticipated. Probably a lot of other people thought that my prediction that Mike Kelly would have a little bit of a cushion and thought I was foolish, and I'm starting to think I was a little foolish now too, as Mike Guest heads down into turn number 3, now in the second position. Malik Ray behind him underneath the 7 of Bobby Terrell.
Absolutely. Malik Ray making waves and moves up front with the Skittle machine as he's sitting in 3rd place. Bobby Terrell right there up high in the 7 machine himself. Got Justin Fuller in that 51. He's up there. Chad Cole. Boy, it is a storm of trucks and a who's of names and drivers up front there. Is Mike Kelly still out front the 2? Wow, look at these guys, man. Their nose to tail just right there, inches apart from each other.
Absolutely. Malik Ray, all this battling in the top 6, all these cars together, but Michael Guest now to the bottom of Mike Kelly to take that lead out of turn number 4. Kelly's going to put up a fight, but he's got about 3 lap older tires, and the 74 has set the pace for this entire race. So I think Mike Kelly here is going to find himself in the 3rd position before very long as Malik Ray throws it into turn number 1, gets underneath that number 2 of Mike Kelly.
Yeah, he does. Battle for 2nd place. That's Mike Kelly versus Malik Ray right there. The 1 machine versus the 2 machine. So 1 and 2 side by side, as it'll be a battle for 2nd place. 74 out front. Michael Guest again. And now that 1's going to try to chase him down. We've seen this picture play out before one of the when it was on a long green flag run. So definitely a good battle up front here. As now you got the 51 looking on the inside there of Mike Kelly.
Yeah, Justin Fuller restarted, I believe, 7th. Right now fighting for 3rd with that popcorn machine, and I just can't help but think about food. That 2 of Mike Kelly gets a nice run out of turn number 2. Almost clears him entering turn number 3, but that 51, slightly newer tires, going to hold a lot of center speed on the bottom of the racetrack here, as the 51 of Fuller probably going to find himself in position number 3 and clear as we get through the center of 1 and 2, or before we even get to turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike is looking good out front there. Malik right there in 2nd spot as they go nose to tail up front. As we're still riding, we were riding along there with Pedro Mega. He is still out back trying to wheel this machine. Right now currently sitting in the 21st position. As I was watching him, it's still, every time we watch these replays, or not replays, we actually watch the restarts, these guys, man, they get nose to tail and they fight for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 laps or so, and they start getting spread out. And that's due to the fact of if you burn those tires up, guess what? You're going to pay for it in the long run.
Absolutely. And as you were talking about the 48 Pedro Mega, he's looking 3 wide, but it's not going to be a 3 wide. But he's behind the 91 of Steve Gottschalk right now, and I went back and looked to see exactly what the story was. And now we saw him get caught on pit road as the caution fell, and he spun onto pit road right before that caution, or it slid. And so he was actually the free pass, though, once the caution came out. He was the first car a lap down and 31st. So he's up 11 positions from where he was just a few short laps ago, and we're going to see him coming through this field here because he's faster than about 15, at least, of the guys ahead of him as the caution is out.
Yep, caution's out right now. Let's see, get an idea where it's at.
I actually haven't found it yet. I may have found it. Nope,
99.
not yet.
I think it's 99. Glenn Campbell. That's where Iracing took me to. Let's see here for just a second, see if it actually spins or something here. I have my button set up, and sometimes it sends me back to a truck, sometimes it don't send me back to the right one.
Yeah, at the time of caution, I actually don't see a reason for it. It might be because the 87 car of Don Roberts came to a stop on the apron all the way up against the grass. It might have thrown a caution for that because I don't see any other reason.
Yeah, me either. I'm not seeing the 99 caution came out. So, well, we'll just say hot dog wrapper on the track.
Yeah, debris.
There you go. Debris caution here, Chicagoland. And guess what? Everybody coming down on pit road again. Tires will be of the utmost importance here tonight. And these guys definitely probably screaming at their crew chiefs going, hey, we want tires. We need them. Got to have them. I'm out here pushing this thing. Well, the one thing about the cautions out here, though, Harrison, it's got to be frustrating for a driver to be in the back of that middle pack because it seems like track position is very important here. And we talked about 2 tires. I think eventually we'll see somebody, if a caution comes out late, do that gamble because it seems like if you're in the back, it's very hard to get to the front.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that has the best rubber but no time to get to a place where you can really use it. And so I think the drivers are all kind of playing the scenarios in their head. At which point do I go with 2 tires? Do I go with a fuel only? Do I stay out? And it's just a moving dial, and sometimes you can make the same exact call 2 races in a row, but you're almost playing poker. You know, it depends on everyone else's hand, and the hand changes every game, and the players you play with change a lot, and a lot of it is reading what your opponents are going to do, but also playing the right strategy. You know, the same thing's not going to work every time, and so it's just a moving target, which makes it that much harder to be decisive with pit strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a question out there, the 96, that would actually be Steve Minson. Let me see if I can get a close-up on him. He's asking, did he get damage on his truck early on? He does have a little damage I see on the side and the rear of it. Doesn't look like that truck's tore up all too bad. Actually, here you go. We'll throw it up on the side-by-side and let you see there. That's the 96. Good-looking Maxxis paint job he's got on that thing, but it does look like he's got a little side quarter damage on the rear of it there on the left side. Doesn't look too bad. Shouldn't slow him down too much out here. I think it's just a product of what we were talking about before, where you're at on the track. And right now he is, if I can find him in a slew of these trucks.
P7 right 7. Now.
Okay, good deal. Appreciate it. Yeah, me looking through the whole list here of drivers, they're all bunched together and trying to find which one's which, but not too bad. We'll have to see if it slows him down. I don't think it will. Didn't look like it hurts the spoiler or anything. So yeah, not too much damage out there, Derek. I think he might be all right.
Yeah, the only thing I really see, there's some cracks between the hood and the front end and then the quarter panel. The splitter's a little bit shoved up on the left side. So it's one of those scenarios where he's not out of it. He's probably not down on much, but he might be down on enough to be annoyed by it. You know, just where he gets a run on someone down the straightaway and then it evens out halfway down the straightaway. As a driver, it could, I don't want to say infuriating, but it's beyond annoying. It's a really annoying thing to deal with. The damage came from as he was sliding to the infield, there was a truck alongside of him kind of just rubbing him. So the damage didn't really come from an impact, but it came from just a car into his door for a steady amount of time. So it could be much worse for Steve Minson. He's still a factor in this one.
Yep, absolutely. You're right. Straightaway speed might be where he'll probably get hindered at. You know, they are running about 180 mile an hour. Draft does play a little bit here, especially as close as these trucks are. So it'll be interesting to see him. He's currently up there in 7th or, around 7th spot. So good deal.
Yeah, and Steve Minson's always one to watch. An entertaining driver. He takes chances. He's aggressive. He's pretty smart about his aggression. You don't see him make too many mistakes, but you see him go for it. And I think he's got a little fresher rubber than some of the guys he's around. 2 of the cars in front of him, trucks. And but that's Michael Guest and Malik Ray back on the front row. They have they're on the same tires as Steve Minson is, and they are in control of the race now. Mike Kelly's going to have to come from 5th with slightly older tires.
Absolutely, and here we go. Pace cars in, green flag in the air, going to be lap 66. And look at Malik Ray. He said, this time I'm going to try a different tactic. I'm going to run right there and see if I can't get a good jump on him on the start. And he did. He's going to try to battle him going off into turn 1. Just don't know if he's got enough muscle in no skittle machine out there. We'll have to see, but look at the power move the 51's putting on the 20 of Chad Coleman.
Yeah, right up to his bumper. It looks like Fuller lifted a little bit to stay behind Chad Coleman. Probably doesn't want to slow them down and get caught by some of these guys behind him as they want to put some distance on the rest of the field. Already there's a little bit of a cushion back to the 2 of Mike Kelly in 5th. And Mike Kelly's got a little bit of a cushion back to Steve Minson, who's working on Bobby Terrell. And so that's one of those, hey, we're early. Let's get away from these guys and then race it out amongst ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about the top 4 drivers there kind of fanning out themselves, getting in their own line, going. Let's do, like we was talking about, plate track. Looks like they're all tucked up there drafting. They're going to run to 20, gets on the 1 there. That's Chad Coleman pulling up on the back deck lid of Malik Ray. As he does, that's going to open the door up for Justin Fuller to look on the inside. As he'll take that thing down there in the popcorn machine on the inside. They'll go side by side. He'll take that spot away. That's going to bring that man up, though, Mike Kelly, there in the 5th place spot. So we got 5 trucks up front, nose to tail. And like you said, we got to go back behind them before we get into a slew of a mess happening. These guys, man, are still just, nobody told them it was lap 68 and 125. They think it's the last lap.
Oh, and they've been racing like this all race long. One of those drivers working on another truck is the 15 of Brett McBride. We've seen him running second quite a bit this race, and having to make up that track position. Was working on the number 8 of Chad Cole, but was not able to complete the pass there. Brett McBride goes for the middle of the track. Chad Cole goes for the bottom. Part of that might be a little tire strategy. They might be noticing that middle lane doesn't wear the tires quite as much, especially the front tires, trying not to turn that wheel too much. And sometimes the bottom here could be really loose when you really hug that white line. So you'll see when the trucks are really tight, they'll probably try to use a lot of that white line, try to rotate it. But as the tires wear and the dynamic track comes into play, the groove really expands. But here, I think people are very aware of how their truck's going to feel as it gets looser throughout a run, and they might be a little bit proactive in trying to prevent it from getting as bad as it was earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, I want to welcome Steven out there, man. He said it's the first time he finally caught a stream live, and then he says it's 3 a.m. where he's at. So now my question to him is where exactly are you at that it's 3 a.m.? That would tell me that you're probably across the other side of the pond here from us.
Oh, definitely. A few options. I'm just going to say England, but I don't know. It could be in Paris.
Yeah, true. Well, I've had a guy, man, who used to race. He was from the Netherlands, and he was about 5 hours ahead. Very dedicated driver, man, Eric Tesh, and he used to, man, come up here and race all the time. It'd be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
You know, I think I've seen his name before, and I had no idea he was from the Netherlands.
Absolutely, man. Call him the Iceman for the Netherlands. Eric Tesh definitely raced in a lot of different leagues and very dedicated. I mean, he would race like Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and would be here, and it would be like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning where he was at. And Josh says England. So is that his guess, or is that actually where he actually might be? And if it is, hey, Sim500 made it worldwide. There it is, England, Devon. I hope I said that right. Devon, England. Is that right?
Or Devon. I don't know, actually.
Devon, yeah, it could be.
I've never been there, but...
Yeah, me either. Probably never will. But hey, they do have a show over there, real quick, that is called Mrs. Brown's Boys. Awesome show if you get to see it.
Mrs. Brown's Boys?
Yes, check it out. It's like a... Look it up. Look it up on YouTube. Look up Mrs. Brown's Boys, and you'll get a crack. I mean, it's a funny show.
You know, there's a lot of good British entertainment. That seems to be a trend coming over here into the States. It seems like everyone's noticing they have some good comedies across the pond. And I mean, in fact, that's where The Office came from. Yep. So a little bit of a different variety of The Office here in the States. But that's certainly one of those things where, you know, God bless satellite TV and all the cable packages and stuff, because we get all kinds of good stuff now.
Absolutely. Well, the good thing also we get is a lot of good racing that we've seen out here so far. Chicagoland here tonight, folks, for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, the Winter Series here, kicking off live tonight. Oh yeah, we come from Chicago, but guess what next week, Harris? We got Daytona. So these guys might be nose to tail here. They definitely going to be stuck and glued together next week.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. There's no getting away from anybody there. And a bit of a segue, but there was no getting away from Mike Kelly just now for Chad Coleman. Got bad loose out of turn 4, and they avoided contact and they got through there. But oof, that 20 truck, Smokey, she was smoking the right rear tire there out of turn 4.
Wow, yeah, and got a little bit of damage on the nose of that JDR graphics machine right there. As we're watching the Blimpy cam. Everybody likes Blimpy. I like the Blimpy. I call it the Blimpy cam. And it gives you a good perspective of what these guys are seeing. Actually gives you a good perspective of the track at whole and how far away they are. So it's a good battle back there in the back, kind of far back middle of the style pack here as we're seeing these guys up front. Well, I told you we would wait until they got fanned out a little bit here. So let's go ahead, man, and do what we like doing here at OSR Network. We'll go ahead and do our, what we call it's the OSR Network rundown order. So, out front, Michael Guest. The man's got it moving out there right now and currently in the first spot. We got second place man Malik Ray. He's right there in that Skittles machine. Third place Justin Fuller. Fourth place man Mike Kelly. Fifth place Chad Coleman out there was talking about a JDR graphics machine. Sixth place Bobby Terrell. We got the seventh place Chad Cole right there on the back deck lid of Die Hard machine. Eighth place man Steve Minson. And right behind him the ninth place Rick McBride. And on the 10th place, we got James Pascarol. I hope I said that right. Nah, we'll get up with him. We'll figure that one out. 11th place, Thomas George. And 12th place, man, Scott Simley. I call him Scott Smiley. He's got Rockford Falls Gate, and he's booming around the track right now. 13th place, Pedro Omega. They said, man, production extraordinaire. He's got a nice-looking 48 machine out there, currently running the 13th spot. Behind him in 14th, you got Jimmy North. He's got the 84 machine looking good. He comes from 23rd, currently running 14th. 15th place, Brian Cook. He's got a nice looking machine there, Air Jordan style machine in the 15th spot. 16th, EJ O'Rourke. We know he's bad fast, just kind of hanging on right now in the 16th place. 17th car, Steve Gottschalk. As we was talking about, he's got Nerf out there. Definitely he might need that if he hits the wall. Currently sitting in 17th. 18th place man Joey Katina. Nice looking Sim500 machine. Appreciate him running the colors there for the OSR Network on the hood. Right behind him in 19th has got his hands full. That right there, Bobby Wetzel. As the 20th place man right now is Chris Gaboo. I believe I said that right. And he's got the Red Bull machine 21st as we're under caution. Right now as we'll get the rest of the field here in the rundown. Let's go back and see what we got there on our caution.
30 truck, Louis Robinette. It was the 30 truck got loose at a turn 2, and the actual contact, a little bit of net code there as he collided with the 57 of Nick Cohan. But Louis Robinette got loose, came down the track out of turn number 2, collected the 57 of Cohan. Who, it feels like ever since that choice to stay out earlier in the race just kind of has haunted him a little bit.
Yeah, we just watched that, let the viewers see what happened there on that wreck, and you're right, definitely some net code right there. So, well, we made it pretty much all the way to the rundown order. Definitely big field, a lot of trucks out here. You know, currently right now, you know, the 30 of Lewis, he was back there in about the 23rd, 24th spot. So he definitely was having an okay run about it here. He was trying everything he possibly could do to get up front. You know, it'd be interesting to see as everybody comes on pit road.
Yeah, I think the only people who stayed out may be looking for a bonus point if applicable, and we have a couple who we have at least one truck looking to take a wave around there, who's multiple laps down Kevin Pearson. But coming out of pit road, Michael Guest beats Malik Ray off of pit road once again. So, you know, I had my money on Malik Ray going into this one, looking at the roster, and but Michael Guest has been showing that, you know, he very well might be the guy to beat in this one. Malik Ray's going to have to do a little bit better than he did on the earlier run in this race, the longest run that we've had, in order to have something for that 74. Michael Guest just seems to have it in control right now, but it's racing. Anything could change. A late caution changes the strategy dramatically, and we've seen all kinds of racing in this one. So
Yep.
there's no telling where this race is going to go.
I would sit here and say if it goes green flag from here on out, which would, almost be a far fetch, that he definitely would, could possibly be able to do something. The problem is we've seen that before, and then Michael just pulled away from Malik on the long run. So I think if Malik's probably going to have a chance, let me flip that around. He's probably going to have to do it here early. Maybe put some pressure on that 74 early on and get around him and make that 74 use his tires up, because as long as Michael's out front, he is pretty much has his own destiny.
Absolutely. And that is something that you can mess with a little bit, is trying to force somebody's hand a little bit earlier, try to force them to push harder. If Malik doesn't have the pace to right now to go out front and set the pace himself, that's really his best chance, because he's very, very close on speed. He took some mental notes from that first run, and obviously he lost 2 seconds on getting loose alone coming out of turn 4. And so, there's no doubt that the driver of that one truck has made some adjustments in driving style and how he's going to approach the long run, or how he's going to even approach the short run. Every lap is learning, it's experience. So you never quite know. It's kind of like you look at the NASCAR guys on Sunday. Look at Dover, for instance. Truex was out there early. Kyle Larson looked like the guy to beat. You get halfway through the race, track changes a little bit. How drivers approach it change a little bit because of the variables changing. Suddenly Chase Elliott's the guy to beat. Suddenly Kyle Busch is in the lead. And that really takes form here in iRacing, especially with the dynamic tracks.
Yeah, you're right. With the dynamic tracks, makes a whole new ball game out here. And I talked to a lot of, I guess I'm kind of privileged that I get to talk to a lot of some pro-style drivers that run at the peak antifreeze here on iRacing, which is considered some of the best of the best. And they were telling me about actually some of what the dynamic track has done. And it's really interesting because you can actually see on the stream here, if you watch out there and watching the turns, you can see the turns already starting to lay rubber down with all these trucks out throughout the race.
Yeah, and it's not even just it's obviously not just a visual effect. It really plays a role of exactly where you want to go. You want to find that cool racetrack. You want to find, you're just searching for that grip. And it could be the difference between, sometimes you could be the best guy on lap 20. You could keep doing exactly what you're doing, and you're no longer the best guy. You got to change what you're doing. Michael Guest in control of this restart, but look at Malik Ray in the one truck, pretty much even. Just kind of anticipated it just right. The 74 pulling him entering turn number 1. Malik Ray going to have to jump back into second. But good start for that one truck too.
Yeah, and that's what we were just talking about. He might have to force that hand as he's going to look on the inside. He might need to pressure him here early on, because he understands that later on in the run that 74 probably can just long gone as a long run truck. But man, I tell you what, look at Michael. It's got that power going into the turns, coming out, got that truck flowing. We were talking about as long as he stays out front, he's got kind of his own destiny in his own hands out there, because he can do what he needs to do with the truck, not have to worry about being in traffic. But behind them, look at the battle there. You got Chad Coleman up top there in the 20. Steve Minson right there in that 96. We were just talking about him. He's in the mix there.
Yeah, and if Steve Minson is hurting, he's not hurting much. I haven't been watching him very much during the recent green flag laps, but looking at his speed on the straightaway, looks pretty good. And also a little bit of damage on that 20 at Coleman, but I don't think Steve Minson's going to be holding up many people in this one, if any at all. But Chad Cole, that number 8, looks underneath him. Minson decides to run the middle there just in case, able to tuck back onto the inside. Bobby Terrell amongst the group there, looking 3 wide for a second. Pedro Mega, he was 31st, 25, 30 laps to go? Now he's in 8th. Gets into the back of Chad Cole there.
Yeah, look at that. What a dogfight right there, man, Harris. I tell you, like you said, it's a who's who of a gamble. I think we're starting to see it. Business is picking up front. It's about time. Rung what you brung, and you're seeing it up there. Somebody's trying to chew some Skittles down. Another man got some popcorn. Got a lot of things, a lot of neat sponsors up here. Look at these guys, nose to tail, as they storm down the back stretch. Man, they are inches apart from each other.
Absolutely. And you know what? As this amazing battle continues here for second on back, Michael Guest is out there a second and a half ahead of the field, able to dictate his own pace, go as fast as he wants to. There was a smoking truck on the inside. I don't think it's going to bring out a caution, but I did not catch who that. It was Chris Gabot, I believe. Caution's out now. Looks like for the 30 truck around again might be for the reason for this caution.
All right, let's go back here and let the viewers see here what happened on that. Well, I'll tell you what, oh, yeah, slam. That's actually a 25 truck in the wall hard. Don't know if he's the one that brought the caution out, but boy, that's where Iracing took me to. So let's watch this because he hit the wall very hard. 25 machine here.
Ooh, and that all started because I believe it was Joey Gatina in the 14 got stuck in the wall coming out of turn 2, and as he got unstuck, the 25 was there, and it sent him into the infield.
It did. Wow. Let's get back on here, but we'll see another view of that hard hit with the 25 machine here, because it's kind of unique the way he actually did that. He's coming out of the Red Bull machine. That's a Chris Gaboo we were talking about. Yeah, right there, you're seeing he bounced off. The truck caught the bump right there in the grass and sent it airborne, and when it did, he slammed the inside wall. Hard lick for the 25 there.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the hood of that 25 truck, Tom Petty. Certainly thoughts with Tom Petty.
Yep.
Haven't heard many updates, just hear that he's in the hospital and in grave condition.
Passed away.
Oh, actually did pass away?
I think he did. I think I saw it on there. And yeah, you speak of that too, man. We definitely want to thoughts and prayers out for everyone in Las Vegas over the shootings and whatnot that happened out there.
Unfathomable. I mean, it's just surreal to watch. You don't, your brain doesn't want to believe it's true when you see it. But you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, thankful for what we get to do here. Thankful to be able to bring all this here, but definitely, man, there are some heartaches and stuff going on in the world today. And like you said, there with obviously thoughts and prayers to Tom Petty and all the family members there and all the family members out in Las Vegas. So definitely, it's one of those things that is unfortunate to see that happens in the world. But these guys right now out here, well, they're getting to do what they love to do, and that's virtual sim racing here. And we just saw that lick with the 25 there, Harris. And I guess if you could get a virtual headache, well, give that man a BC.
Yeah, absolutely. Need something to work, some fast working headache relief right now. That was it's interesting how as he was spinning through the infield, it kind of crossed an access road, and that's what sent him skyward. And then his wheels dug into the grass, and that's all she wrote. It was flipping from there. But that 25 truck will definitely be going a few laps down, 3 laps down already. Might be retiring from the race. I think he might need a new engine on that one overall, so he might hang around and finish this one a half hour from now, bring it back onto the track with a new engine. But the 25 no longer within the top 30.
Yeah, unfortunately, right there, definitely a hard hit for him. So, and I see old Steven out there. Yes, one of my favorite rock stars. He was 60. Yeah, so that's why I was thinking Tom Petty. Yeah, I heard earlier he had passed away. So I hate to see that, man. And grew up listening to him and all. And like I say, all the people out in Las Vegas. I mean, just terrible things to think about. But we can take our mind off of all the bad stuff coming here tonight. Chicagoland Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, Winter Series here with the trucks tonight here live. And it has been a fantastic wow of a race. And it's about to get even more interesting as we're going to have about 33, 32 laps to go when they go back green here, Harris. Man, it's anybody's ball game because these restarts, well, they've been wild.
And you know what's interesting? Our leader is going to be The race leader is going to be the 57, Nick Cohan. He had fallen back to 20th, ran about 6, probably soft laps in the back there, kind of saving his stuff, and he's going to stay out. Mike Kelly in second in the number 2 machine took 2 tires on this stop. Probably did not take on any fuel to counter that a little bit to keep the stability in the truck as best as he can. But we're looking at about 30 laps to go as we go green here. There's going to be 32 to go, I believe. And, you know, it's still a daunting task for 2 tires. It's a hard decision to make, especially because Mike Kelly had pretty good track position going into this one. Or actually, he had fallen back to about 14th, and I didn't even realize. But so that's a track position move for Mike Kelly, and also Nick Cohan in the biggest way. They're hoping to make some net gains here with their pit strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to ride along with E.J. O'Rourke on the one side here and watch these leaders up front take the green flag on the start and see if that 74 can overtake these guys out front. You just said it. Nicholas Cohan, he's got that number 57 up there, and the 2 machine of Mike Kelly, he's going to try to hang on to it. So, folks, here we go. Pace cars coming out of turn 4, going to take that hard left turn off on pit road and send these monster trucks rolling. Going to be lap 32 when they cross the line. Here we go. Pace cars in. They'll take that slow little roll. Green flag in the air. Well, they put the hammer down to the 74-1. They go straight to the apron as they'll go 3 wide to turn number 1.
Yeah, the 74, Mike Guest goes to the inside, and then Fuller does the crossover to get to the inside. Mike Kelly stuck on the outside of a 3 wide. Meanwhile, Malik Ray shooting up the bottom there to get into the 3rd position. Fuller back to 4th. And now Mike Kelly looks like he's going to be fading in this one, but the 57 of Nick Cohan, new life breathed into that truck. Right now in holding the lead, but the 74 Michael Guest is all over him.
Yeah, he has him right there. I got to tell you what, heads up move by Malik Ray, as he could have ran all over the 74 there. As the 74, the Michael Guest threw a block on him when Malik tried to sneak on the inside. So it was a good heads up sportsmanship move by Malik, as now those 2 men are trying to overtake the 57 and Nicholas Cohan. It looks like they're going to be able to do it without only those 2 tires. They've got 4 tires. It's going to bring the 51 or Justin Fuller along with them. And as we say, boy, up front, these guys definitely are hammering these trucks out.
And sneaking up into the top 5 now, I was just thinking that we haven't seen much of Thomas George. He was kind of running, it seems like just back half of the top 15 for quite a while, but he's up to 5th. And that number 5, lucky number 5, I guess, in 5th. And he's working the outside of Nick Cohan now for, that's position number 4. And when I saw Thomas George's name earlier in the race, I thought he's going to be a factor. And then only like 10, 15 laps ago, I thought, you know, maybe this is not Thomas George's best combo tonight. But, well, he's proven my thoughts from 10 laps ago wrong already. Is Mike Kelly 3 wide on the outside. They're working around the 57. That's Chad Coleman in the number 20 on the bottom. Kelly doing all he can to not lose any more track position. Coleman with the better tires. George with the better tires. And the race is on there for 4th.
Yeah, it is. They're going to go 3 wide, split him in the middle right there, the 57 and Nicholas Cohan. The problem is those 2 tires just not working out, and all these guys sitting on 4, they definitely can get the bite on it. And it's just tricky. They got to be careful, though, these guys with the 4 tires, because they're getting such a run on him. As you see them beating and banging back there in the back, 28 to go. They know it's go time. They got to go if they want a chance to win it. The problem is if you go too hard, well, you might end up putting your own self into the wall.
That's absolutely right, and these guys are going as hard as they can. I just saw back there around 12th, Rhett McBride in the 15 truck. I lost track of him right now. Or running 16th, actually. Rhett McBride has kind of been a top 5 staple this race. And right now, trying to work through all the track position, has them all kinds of jumbled up with only 27 to go right now, and he's got a lot to make up. Truck's in good shape, though. He looks a little bit loose in 1 and 2, but it's just incredible how quickly things can change.
Absolutely. Well, he was fighting that truck earlier on at number 63. Brett, actually, I was at Brian Cook. He was fighting his earlier on. Brett right there behind him. It's, like you said, it can change in a heartbeat here. I think it's just a problem with the way this track is. I mean, look at these guys up front. They are all still nose to tail. I mean, it is anybody's race right now up front. Now, we're still talking about Michael Guest. He's out front by about 8 tenths already.
Yeah, and his lap time's best on the track. I think Malik Ray is trying to save a little bit of tire compared to earlier in the race. He wants to make a run at him, but I think Justin Fuller has a disagreement on just how much to give up right now. Fuller in the 51 truck, I think this is going to be the highest he's run all race. He's looking to take second away from that Skittles machine, and he will enter turn number 1. So Fuller, the 51, that popcorn machine, is going to try to catch that 74 truck, see what he can do with him.
And hang on to it. You got the 48 of Pedro Megan on the inside of the number 20 there, Chad Coleman. They'll take it 2x2 into the turn. He runs up on the back deck lid of the 1 of Malik Ray. Good battle. And behind him, you've got Mike Kelly there with Thomas George, the 5 and the 2. They're side by side. So it's battles front, back, middle, all over the place. And these guys just not giving an inch with 24 to go. The man out front, Michael Guest, he is loving everything he is seeing in the backside right now.
Yes, he is. As he looks in his mirror, he sees a second lead on second on back. And that's all he can hope for, just hard racing behind him. Malik Ray is watching his chances at a win kind of go away here because even saving tires a little bit, I just don't think he has enough time to really save a lot to where he would, get to where he's a 10th better lap for the final 15 laps or something like that. I feel like the advantage is you have to go a certain amount. You have to push a certain amount that some of these guys in the top 5 don't seem to be doing right now, but I like what Michael Guest is doing, and he can kind of dictate the pace from there.
Well, wait until now. What's going on, Chief? How you doing, man? I tell you what, I waited till now to actually say something about Michael Guest. I heard a little thing about it when he showed up here at the race and he unhauled that truck off. Some of the guys were talking about it and they said, watch that guy in the 74, Michael Guest. When he unloaded that machine, it was definitely going to, he was going to be fast. And Malik Ray, they talked about him all weekend long here at the track. But as soon as that 75 and Michael and them showed up with his team, it was like the talks were like, all right, let me show you what's going to be done now. So, good battle going on up front. What's going on, Chief, out there, man? I tell you what, and after, I'll see you guys out there chatting up. Hope you enjoyed the show, everyone. As we're live here tonight, Chicagoland Speedway for the Monday night Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, the winter series here for the trucks. And we're winding down here, lap 21. And the man out front, Michael Guest, he's got a 1.2 second lead over Justin Fuller, who is in second. Malik Ray sitting in third. Chad Coleman right there in fourth. Pedro Mega, he's been able to pull that machine up there into the 5th spot. Actually started back in 6th, currently sitting in 5th right now, 48. As Harris said, he stepped away for a minute. He'll be back here, folks, here just shortly. And I tell you what, it's some good battling going on throughout this whole entire track, man. I love it, and hope everyone out there, man, in the viewer world has loved what you've seen so far. I've enjoyed it, man. A lot of great action, a lot of great, just racing, man. Gotta love racing. That's all I can say. As we're gonna get you to know some more side by side here. Let you see what's happening in the back there. So that's back there with Rhett McBride. We're back to 14, 15, 16 spot back there with E.J. O'Rourke. Steve Gottschalk, he's back there. And yeah, I'm gonna get some of these names right, folks. Don't give me a little time. First night here. This is the kickoff here for this tonight. First race of the winter series for the Monday night. Boy, they go 3 wide. 77's around. Oh, let's see if we can go back on the 77 here. That's James. He's going through the grass right there, folks, mowing it just a little bit. He's just in a little trim. No harm, no foul. I'll tell you. You back yet, Harris? Harris ain't back yet, so we're still good. Well, up front, that man, Michael Guest, he is still just making guesswork, man, of anything out here. These guys out here trying to guess what they can do to run him down, and that's the only thing they know is hopefully he blows up, makes a mistake. Right now, no mistakes being made by that 74. As Justin Fuller's looking good in the 2nd place spot, Malik Ray in 3rd, Chad Coleman 4th. We got to go on back here. Let's go on back here just a little bit, just fanning through this field. There's 68 machine. Scott Simley started 19th, currently in the 9th place spot. Behind him, Chad Coles, 29th, sitting in the 10th place. Wow, good run for him so far. I love that. Love the outside there. So we're getting down here, 16 to go. Man up front, Michael Guest. Wow. So watching this battle here, though, Chad Cole, he's up underneath the 68 machine of Scott Simley as they're going to go side by side for a second. Well, it's like I always said out there, man, if you like what you see, hit a like, hit a sub, hit a share. These guys, man, here, I want to appreciate the Sim500 crew here. Let myself, OSRNetwork, come here and broadcast this awesome show for you here. The kickoff season, start of the season for the Winter Series, for the Monday Night Money Winter Series, that is. It's a good one so far. In a awesome start. We started with 34, some bad fast boys, some bad fast trucks, and a bad fast track. Now we still got 30 of these trucks out here right now, storming around this place. And looking good while they're doing it. We're starting to see this battle right here for 9th and 10th. It's still heating up between Scott Simley and Chad Cole as they still will take it side by side. You got Rick McBride right there in the 11th spot. He's watching these guys going, fellas, make up your mind on what y'all want to do, man. I'm back here and I want to try to see what I can do myself. Wow. I'm going to give you a little side by side action here on the inside back there. In the back, that's a mix right there. Wow. All right, Harris, what's going on?
Oh, I lost sound, but my microphone kept working, and I was like, uh-oh, I don't know how to respond if I can't hear what's going on. So I ended up swapping out a pair, and it wouldn't take, and then I swapped out another pair, and the second pair worked.
Gotta love technical difficulties. Man, I have them sometimes. Hey, that's all right. As long as we can work through them, we have the power. That's the way. So we got 13 to go, though, Harris. And was watching this battle right here for the 9th, 10th, and 11th spot. You got Scott Simley, Rick McBride, Chad Cole. They've been battling lap after lap because, Michael Guest out front. Well, he's making these guys try to guess on what they're going to have to do to run him down next time if he shows up next week and whatnot. But right now, good battle, like I said, for the 9th, 10th, and 11th here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Kind of stabilized out front, but looking at 8th, 9th, 10th, Thomas George kind of holding on to the track position. You have Jimmy North. For a second there, I was like, is Jimmy North on the lead lap? Because I saw that Lowe's truck, that 84, sneaking up here, but he's actually 4 laps down, running nose to tail with Thomas George. But for Justin Fuller, side by side though, Rhett McBride, I think the best battle on the racetrack right now is for 8th or 9th. Number 15 of Rhett McBride, the 68 of Simley. I was just a little ahead of that. I'll be a little bit lost for a second, but that battle just continues. And I feel a little bit bad for Rhett McBride because he had such top 2, top 3 speed earlier. It looks like he's headed for a back half of the top 10 finish right now, but that Riverwatch Brewery truck, that 15, has looked good all race long. As he's coming up now, has the number 5 with Thomas George in his sights, looking to get to the 8th spot.
Yeah, it is, man. You got Rick McBride right there in the 9th, Scott Simley sitting in 10th, Thomas George sitting in 8th. Well, those trucks right there are all nose to tail. A good battle on the field. As like we said, our leader out front, 1.1 seconds over Justin Fuller, and he's got about a 5-second lead over Malik Ray in the 3rd place spot, and Chad Coleman. So it's kind of spread out between the top 5s. Watching this battle here, though, between Thomas George, Scott Simley, Chad Cole, and Steve Goscock. Yeah, that's right. I think I got it right.
Something like that. Steve Goscock is what I always go with, but I'm pretty sure on that. Yeah, he's hanging tough. We saw the 91 has had a bit of an up and down race. He collided with Steve Minson earlier in the race, and Minson up there in 7th, hanging tough. So both of those trucks able to get a finish despite an earlier incident, or at least get a probable finish here. We've got about 7 laps to go in this one, as the number 15 of Rhett McBride was able to get past Thomas George, so into 8th for McBride. Simley's holding tough in 10th, trying to hold off Chad Cole. Cole, who started all the way back in 29th. I definitely know he would love to get his name into that top 10 on the leaderboard for the finish of this one.
Absolutely. The man out front, still Michael Guest, got a 1.2 second lead. So we're still kind of sticking with this battle here. Guess best battle on the track right now. as they are really spread out here. As we're coming down to the nitty-gritty of things, so to speak. 7 to go, and across the line will be 6 to go next time by. And unless just something changes up front, I think old Michael's making guesswork of this one out here.
Oh yeah, and actually the number 1, Malik Ray, I just went to him. He's underneath Justin Fuller right now for second. Probably going to be able to get into the second place here. But Justin Fuller just got bad loose in front of him at a turn 4, made him lose at least 3 or 4 tenths of time valuable time, making it that much harder for Malik Ray. But right before that happened, I was thinking to myself, looking at the lap times, the last two to three laps, Malik Ray's actually been the fastest guy on the track. Certainly a lot of ground to make up, though. That's a daunting task, especially now that he has an extra, probably an extra half a second just from that one hiccup coming out of turn number 4. Went from a 1.2 second lead for Guest to a 1.7, and I think we're going to see Malik Ray chop it down a little bit, but without a caution, I don't think he has enough time to get there.
Yeah, probably not. And, you know, that's the power technology he was talking about. We had the power here to show you, stick with the battle back here in the 10th and 11th and show you the battle going on for the second place. Because the 51 still on the back deck lid and tire tracks of the 1 and Malik Ray up front. But I think just as all for naught, time's running out. 4 laps to go as he crossed the line for that man out front, Michael Guest. And you still see Scott Simley and Chad Cole at it right there as they'll go door to door. Malik Ray's kind of walking away from Justin Fuller up front there. Wow, just some good battles all throughout this place here at Chicago tonight, Harris.
Absolutely, and as I come to the line this time, I'd like to see what the gap, how the gap changes between Michael Guest and Malik Ray. Malik, actually, it stays exactly the same, so it's looking like Michael Guest is hoping we get here to the checkered sooner rather than later. There's next time by is going to be 2 laps to go, so if a caution were to fall, the caution flag would end the race. So the next flag, well, it looks like it's going to be, they're going to get the white and be able to finish this one. Remember, in Iracing, if there were an accident, that's going to end the race. I was going to point out, if we get a caution on the white flag lap, it doesn't actually bring out a yellow flag. It lets everyone finish under green, kind of as a makeshift green-white checker. But we have a caution on the track. I wasn't able to find where it was, but that makes it where Michael Guest just has to get around for another lap under yellow for that win, and he'll have it.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, let me go back here and we'll see if we can't find it.
I see a little bit of smoke on the front stretch, but I haven't. Oh, it's actually Justin Fuller might be the reason for the caution. Absolutely.
Yep. Oh, yeah, just got loose coming out of the turn. I think the 84 kind of helped him on around there. Justin Fuller, boy, he was running up front too, right there behind the tire tracks. We were just talking about it, running right behind Malik Ray. And again, long green flag run. So not what you want to see with about 2 to go, but you're right. This one is over, and a man that's going to bring it home here tonight, who has been pretty much just dominating, Michael Guest, and that's going to put Malik Ray sitting in second. And right now, Chad Coleman unofficially is going to be sitting in third, what I'm showing. Wow. As you see that they crossed the line, that one is going to be over with. Wow, what a race. I mean, this thing, for the green flag on, was awesome.
It's so entertaining to watch people just drive trucks that are just absolutely out of control, where you know that they're just bordering on wrecking every corner, every lap, and that's what I find extremely entertaining about racing.
Absolutely was. We're watching that man right there in the 74 take the final laps around here, as he's going to get that checkered flag on Malik Ray up there, bumping him in the back just a little bit, saying, hey, man, I tried all I could do all night long, but I'll throw some Skittles up there at you, and we'll have us a tailgate party, helping him out. Good run, though, for that 20. It's showing me that it's going to be him with the 84. Yeah, it's showing me that the 20 of Chad Coleman's going to be in third place.
Absolutely right. And Pedro Mega, by the way, shout out to him, because it was looking rough earlier, and he got all the way up to fourth. But Michael Guest just dominated this one. It seemed like it was never in doubt from his cockpit, and he's gonna take the win in that 74 machine in the first race of this Winter Series.
Yeah, it is. First race, Chicagoland Speedway here tonight. first race of the Winter Series Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. The Winter Series, awesome win there. Michael Guest is your man out front. Malik Ray second. Chad Coleman will come in third here, as we're going to get these guys up here and get a talk with them. As we'll just have to wait a few, because I don't think they're all in the channel. I don't believe, anyways.
No, probably not for a couple of minutes, but
Michael down there.
Michael's going to drive onto the front stretch here, probably do a bit of a celebration, doing burnouts, doing donuts with Malik Ray through the grass on the front stretch. And, for 34 trucks in this race, I'd say they had exceeded my expectations. We saw a lot of green flag racing, a lot of trucks that were out of control, but holding on to it, saves in the grass, a lot of excitement to watch.
Yes, absolutely. And I thought I got Malik Ray. It won't let me move Malik for some reason. Oh, that's because he's a supervisor. Oh, okay. So, we'll just have to tell one of them, tell Malik to jump up here in the green room for us. All right, well, here we go. Come on. You want to talk with the third and the second place man there, Harris?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, well, let's bring up Chad Cole. He's going to be our... is it Chad Cole or Chad Coleman?
Coleman finished third. Don't see him yet in the server.
There he is. There's Chad Coleman. I pulled the wrong one. One of Chad Cole, one Chad Coleman. There we go. Good deal. We'll pull him up here and let's get a talk with him. Third place man.
And we're trying to get a word with Chad Coleman. He's working on his microphone real quick. But Chad Coleman, we saw a lot of him all race. And Chad, we saw you just consistently in the top 10 all race long. We're able to drive up to third. One thing on my mind, though, that newer truck, we saw you run Red Bull for a long time. Now in Smoky, which I incorrectly referred to as the Gray Ghost for a little bit because I couldn't remember Smoky. But how's the new truck feeling out for you? Is there some good mojo on that new scheme?
Yeah, it's all right. It's a little smoky, but we're gonna bring back the Red Bull truck. We had to get it updated, but it'll be back. It'll be back next week.
And so we saw a lot of sideways trucks this entire race, and so I just wanted to get your input on how it drove throughout the race, especially like beginning of a run through the middle and all the way into the longest run you had. Just if it was as loose as it looked.
Yeah, it was fun. It'd start off, it'd rotate. It was, we actually had something that was fun to drive for the first time in a long time. We actually had something that was fun to drive. You could pass with it. You could run 2-3 different grooves. It just made for a great race. That's why I was telling these guys after the race, I was like, I know what you guys want to do with setups, but if we can get everything to drive kind of like this, we'll deal with the cautions every 30 or 40 laps when somebody finally spins it out. But man, that shit was fun. It was wearing the right rear like 10 to 12% on a long run. After about 12 to 15 laps, you probably had, I'd say 6 or so percent right rear tire wear. And I kept messing up with the fuel. And at the end, I finally got it where I thought I needed to be, and then I might have been a little bit too low. I started to get snug with a couple laps to go, and I had fourth locked up, and then we lucked into third. Fuller got loose, and there's a truck behind him on new tires, and he got into him before he had a chance to really get off of him. But we'll take it. We'll take third.
Absolutely, third's a great run to start this series. And are you looking to run the whole 12 race schedule?
Yeah, I think we're going to try to run the whole 12 races, barring of course, something happening out of our control. Computer issues, internet.
We'll definitely look forward to seeing you here on OSR. But a nice third place run with a 34 truck field. I think it's a great run to start the season off with. And who would you like to thank? Who makes it happen for you?
Yeah, just all the guys here for the league. You guys for the broadcast. JD Laird, JDR Graphics for the paint schemes, and he's the one that redid the Red Bull truck too. So it'll be back next week. And earlier in the race, I sped on pit road, and I thought I'd really screwed myself. And I pretty much stepped on my pecker. And then we went back to green, and how I passed like 20 people, and I was like, damn, this is fun. I almost kind of want to go back and do it again. But yeah, sorry to kind of, jump back in time like that. But hell, we had fun. This was a good race.
Certainly, it was fun to watch, and thanks for joining us here on OSR. And we're gonna.
Yeah, let's go back here. We're gonna get our second place man, Malik Ray. Let's get a talk in with him.
Certainly looking on not actually able to move Malik Ray to the channel right now, but
yeah, I just poked him, told him to jump up.
But Malik Ray, as I was talking earlier, Malik Ray not long ago was the Monday Night Money Series champion. Comes into this race with a lot of momentum, a lot of good mojo, and Malik able to get a second place finish. And what I actually liked a lot about that was it looks like you just showed up without any practice, and your first lap on the track was in might have been in qualifying. And so, how did the truck and the track feel compared to your expectations? Was it a little different than you expected?
Not really. I had ran C6 earlier when it was like there for official racing last season, so I already knew how to drive the track pretty much. I just wasn't expecting it to be clean for Q. That's it.
Oh, that's absolutely right. Certainly Chad Coleman was saying that he thinks that this was probably the most fun he's had in a long time as far as the way the truck was driving. And how did you like the way it felt? And was there any part of the run that you really thought was the most fun to drive, or that you had the biggest advantage in?
Towards the end, I thought it was really fun. Me and Guess were running the same lap times, and then I think out of turn 4, I got really loose one time, and I think I lost like 2 or 3 seconds to him. But yeah, he was the fastest car all night. I think it was me, him, and then Fuller, and then Coleman.
Was there anything you saw where his advantage was, or that you could have done better to just have that little bit more to be able to get to victory lane?
Not really. I wasn't expecting him to be so fat. Probably turned on his tire hacks or something.
And I think that's 2 of the top 3 actually JDR schemes, which brings me to a certain topic. I see a lot of different schemes for you. Is there any rhyme or reason? Do you decide, you know what, if in a 12-race schedule, I'm going to run 6 different schemes?
No, man, that's just because of JD Laird. Like, he paints, like, the best cars on Iracing, period. So, like, he's painted me, like at least, like, 12 different paint schemes, so I have a bunch to choose from every race. And, like, whenever I get tired of running one, I just open something else that he's already painted me.
Absolutely. Actually, JD's getting a lot of free advertisements tonight, so I'm going to have to send him a message and ask for a meal at Jack in the Box or something like that. So JDR Graphics, obviously a big help to you. Who else do you want to thank? Who helps you out on iRacing?
All of my teams at Squirrel Motorsports and all of my teammates and stuff, and Donico Blue. I'm trying to go for the Piston Cup again. Hopefully I'll be able to bring it home.
It's Malik Ray, solid second place finish here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. And I believe Joe's caught up with our winner, Michael Guest.
Absolutely. Right down here, jumped on my golf cart, man. Going to head off down here to Victory Lane. Very happy guy out here. He was making these guys on the track do some guesswork out there. What they're going to have to do to run him down. Michael Guest. Joe out in the booth. Got a copy?
Donico.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Well, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, Michael. It was awesome to see you out there. How did the track feel? Because we heard word in practice that it was very slick out there. What did you feel like throughout the race?
Yeah, I didn't get much practice for the race, but we got in there and it felt really good for the first 15 or 20 laps, and then it just got super loose, and that's where, like, it would come in if you would just save a little bit at the beginning, you would just be really fast on the long run, and that's where I think me and Malik both had our advantages over a lot of other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, man, y'all two were bad fast out there all night long. You definitely had an awesome truck running out here because you're the winner here. First race of the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, Winter Series here, Chicagoland Speedway. Hey, I tell you, I mean, how did it feel out there? And you got anybody out there you want to thank for it?
Yeah, first I want to thank Squirrel Motorsports and the Sim500 guys for putting this series on, and Racer Boost. It felt really good to be out there, and it seems like a very good group of guys for the next 12 weeks or 11 weeks.
Absolutely it is, and definitely, I mean, well, if you keep up what you're doing tonight, they definitely going to have some guesswork out there on what it's going to take to run you down. Because, I mean, you've definitely got some bad, fast machines coming out there, coming off the hauler. That's tonight's winner here, Michael Guest. And it was awesome to see you out there putting guesswork on what it takes, man, to get around here in Chicagoland. Again, congratulations, Michael.
I thank you.
All right. Well, I tell you what, man, right there, Harris, an awesome race, man, from the green flag all the way to the checker flag. I mean, we saw tremendous stuff for 34 trucks out here tonight for the first race here at Chicagoland. I mean, these boys, man, put on a clinic show with skill and driving. It was side by side, 3 wide, 4 wide. I mean, and out there, like I just said a minute ago, if Michael keeps coming back through here and doing what he did tonight, definitely going to have to. A lot of these guys are going to be like, what are we going to have to do to run him down? What are we going to have to do differently out here? You know, Malik's got speed there that can get it done. A lot of these other guys out there are going to have to be trying to figure it out, get the game plan going. You got any final thoughts on this race?
Oh, just a lot of fun watching these guys. When you pointed out just that it was slick, it was greasy out there, you kind of have an image in your head of exactly what you want to see out on the racetrack. And certainly, as far as my expectations are concerned, it exceeded my expectations. I loved what I was seeing out there. Loved all the 3 wide action while sideways. That's what I love above all. So a great show, a big field of trucks here of great drivers. We had capable drivers. E.J. O'Rourke won the Friday Sim500 Series championship. Or I'm sorry, I'm confusing championships. He won one of them. It might have been the Wednesday series. Steve Gottschalk was the Friday series champion. But E.J. O'Rourke, a Sim500 champion, a different series, just was kind of running 12th through 15th in this one. That just shows just how much these conditions threw the drivers for a loop.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll agree with you there. So it's definitely been, this track out here was a tricky one for even some of the best out there, but that man right there, Michael Guest, pulls it off here tonight with Malik Ray in second, and it was an awesome star-studded 34 truck field here to start the season. Well, folks, we'll be back here next Monday night for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, Winter Series here. We'll be at Daytona, the High Banks there. So if you think they were side by side tonight, they definitely be locked up next week. Until then, everyone have a good night. Appreciate you coming out and watching.